Well, New Zealand investigative journalist and author Nicky Hager has a closer connection to Julian Assange's case, fronting as an expert witness in his extradition trial a few years ago. And Nicky joins me now from Wellington. Good morning, Nicky. Good to see you again.
Morena.
A significant moment for Julian Assange.
Well, actually, the news treated it slightly like that this was a hopeful thing for Julian, but I actually was gutted by that decision. The UK judges ignored all the really strong arguments, the really compelling arguments about why he should just be released now, and went for ones like that the US give a guarantee not to give him the death penalty, whereas if he's locked up for the rest of his life in a maximum security prison somewhere in the southern states of the United States, it's a kind of death for a person like Julian.
Interesting you say that, because outside court, Assange's wife, Stella, she said that she was astounded by the decision and called on the US to drop this shameful case because it's leaning towards a political case. Would you agree?
That's exactly right. What the judges were saying inside the appeal case that they've just decided on was that this is clearly a political crime that he's been charged on. There's no other way to see it. It's never happened before in the history of the world that somebody who was involved on releasing leaks by other people could be charged with espionage and threatened with going to court, going to prison forever. And they said, political crimes, you can't extradite people for that. So, and for all of us who have been watching the case closely, it's a very disappointing moment.
So tell us about why Assange was so keen to avoid extradition. Just give us an insight on that.
Well, I mean, the basic thing is he hasn't done anything wrong. But if he gets into the hands of the US justice system, they've made it very clear that they want to lock him up in prison for the rest of his life, and they've already hounded him around the world. Essentially, they're trying to do a great big global punishment of one man as an example to other people who might want to release information about war crimes and secret papers about things the United States wouldn't want seen. And so he knows he's kind of fighting for his life.
In terms of the next 3 weeks, how do you think that'll play out now?
I feel a bit pessimistic about what's been offered by the judges. They're asking the US government to offer some assurances. Their assurances are like that there wouldn't be a death penalty, but they're not out. What they should have been doing, what the decision should have been, was that this is completely legally unsound what they're doing. They've got no grounds for extraditing a person for a political crime. They should stop now. There was a resolution in the Australian Parliament recently with many of the ministers saying, just stop it. Stop doing this to him. He's had enough. And that's what should happen. And I suppose if there's any hope in this, it's not in what the judges asked for, which is some assurances about not being killed and things if he goes to court there. It's that there'll be a bigger political move, either by the Biden administration or by the Australian government, to press harder and actually get him released.
We talked earlier that you were a witness in his defence. How did that come about?
Well, actually, in the pictures that people saw at the beginning of this, there was a huge leak that was organised of US embassy cables revealing these war crimes and secret prisons and torturing and things. I was in Britain. I was invited over by Julian, who I regard as a friend and I've got a lot of respect for, to be part of the team that went through those documents before they were released and was part of the release in this crazy big kind of Rocky Horror Show looking building in the countryside of Britain. And so I was there in that very exciting moment where the documents got released, and I've felt a strong loyalty to him since. And I want to say, I know that some people have heard him being smeared, and when you're going to get done by the powerful people, you often get smeared first. And he was called a narcissist and a strange person and a bad person. I know him. I really like him. I think he's one of the creative, really intelligent, inspiring people of our time who we remembered for a very long time, and it's really awful to see the way they're trying to crush him.
But of course, prosecutors did allege that he unlawfully published the names of classified sources and conspired with former US Army intelligence. I mean, the argument is there that he may have breached some roles there.
I was there. He was giving instructions saying, go through these documents, remove any things which will endanger somebody, and we won't publish those documents. I was there. I did that. I did that for the Pacific cables that were being released. But when it comes down to very, very powerful countries like the United States and organizations like the CIA, they push if they want to punish somebody. And so it's not being a normal, rational case, which is why, as everyone's saying, this is the first time ever that someone has tried to be charged for espionage, kind of like being a kind of a Russian spy, for doing what people like me do all the time, which is encouraging people to give us important information which the public won't otherwise hear.
Investigative journalist Nicky Hager, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.